This morning, board members in Dane County are giving the okay to a new plan to give the county jail some much-needed updates.
And we have the latest developments in the Madison Police Department's investigation into the alleged excessive force against a teenager.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, folks, and thanks so much for waking up with us on your Friday, June 7th. What better way to wake up than with the polar bear cam?
Why not? We love
Look at him go.
doing the backstroke again.
This
Must be
makes
his
our day.
favorite.
I love him.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Or her. We don't know which one it is, but
Yeah, that's
certainly
true.
having fun.
That was me in my pool yesterday.
The flips.
Yep.
Ooh, impressive,
No, I'm not that
Josh.
crazy.
He's good at the turns, I will say.
I did go into the pool for the first time yesterday because it was actually warm enough to do so, finally, even though the pool's been open for like 5 weeks.
You know, it was warm yesterday. Temperatures got a little bit warmer than even I forecast. 84 was the high here in Madison. Even though some kids are still in school, it kind of feels like summer is starting. A lot of activities taking place this weekend. The busy summer season is upon us, and the weather's cooperating. Take a live look from the WISC-TV Skycam. Sun is up this morning. Skies are clear. It is 56 here in Madison. Still a few 60s on the map to the south and west. Right now, Mineral Point is the warm spot in our viewing area with 63 degrees. Everyone's going to heat up today, though, as we climb to highs right around 83. Light easterly winds will keep it a little cooler near the lake if you have plans that take you into Milwaukee. Here's a look at your traffic report this morning. We'll show you what's happening on the maps. No major delays right now on the Beltline. It is getting a little bit busier on Stoughton Road as you approach the Beltline, but nothing that'll slow you down too much just yet. Around the area, no accidents to report, so travel on the interstate is still looking pretty good.
You know, we've been giving Josh flack all week for not wearing sunscreen. You're looking good today, though.
Hey, the tan is starting to come in. I went and got like special like face stuff and everything just because I didn't want to look like a...
That's our boy.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful.
Gotta be careful.
All right, thank you, honey.
You're welcome.
All right, time right now is 6:02 this morning. New this morning, Dane County board members approved a $148 million plan to update and consolidate the county's jails. The Wisconsin State Journal reports demonstrators took over the meeting and shut it down before that decision was made, chanting and yelling things like "shut them down and build people, not jails." The 26-4 vote was made with 3 members missing. That plan, which cost $72 million, more than initially approved, includes building an 8-story tower on the parking lot behind the downtown public safety building and jail, and closing the 2 other facilities that are outdated.
An update to a story we told you about yesterday. The Madison police officer involved in an excessive force investigation is now being put on restricted duty. Earlier this week, officers responded to the home of a 17-year-old boy. Police say the teen was experiencing a mental health emergency, and officers were called to help take him to the hospital. The officers say he was showing threatening behavior, while the boy's friends and family disagree with that account. Some have suggested this response was racially motivated. That's something Police Chief Mike Koval disputes.
I think we have to call what was the behavior that the subject showed. Was the officer's behavior consistent with the training that they are supposed to get? And the race issue is sort of subliminal in everyone's mind, but I hope that ultimately we're looking at this based on the objective reasonableness of the facts.
Now, Chief Koval notes we do not know the full context of this incident because there's no audio and only clips of that video have been released. The Madison Police Department has launched an internal investigation into that incident. An external investigation will also take place.
One man is in jail this morning after a disturbance at a Janesville Walmart. Officers were called to the store on Deerfield Drive around 6 last night after getting a complaint with a person with there being a gun. 20-year-old Anthony Crayer was seen yelling at a woman in the parking lot and at a bystander that had tried to intervene. Crayer allegedly showed a revolver during the argument with the bystander. Crayer was arrested and charged with charges currently pending.
The family of a bicyclist killed in a crash along Raymond Road about 4 years ago will receive $15 million in a wrongful death lawsuit. That's according to the family attorney this morning. Back in June of 2015, 23-year-old Emily Zhu was biking on a trail on Madison's west side. She was crossing Raymond Road when a car hit her. Yesterday, a jury decided the driver of that vehicle, Brian Hodgson, was 100% at fault.
6:04 this morning. While more Big Ten schools will be selling beer at football games this year, UW-Madison will not be following that trend. Schools like Illinois, Indiana, and Rutgers have announced the addition of beer sales this year, bringing the total number of schools selling alcohol in the conference up to half. But at Wisconsin, University Communications say in a statement that there's already an atmosphere of energy and excitement around game days, and quote, the addition of alcohol to general seating could detract it for our students and fans.
Dairy farmers are dealing with a pretty tough environment right now, and the state is now warning against unregulated lenders to help pay for their operations. Wisconsin Public Radio is reporting on ag officials here in the state who are worried that some farmers might rely on loans from companies who aren't regulated through the government. Since milk and other commodities have seen such low prices, the concern is about predatory lending agencies if farmers can't get a loan through their own bank.
All right, check out this video. We're going to meet Lance, Aster, and Goldie. They're the names of Madison's Gas and Electric's newest peregrine. Falcon chicks, rather. Each of these chicks are named after wildflowers. They were banded with numbers on Thursday, and this will help experts keep track of their location, mating habits, and survival after they leave their nest. MG&E installed a nesting box at the top of the Blount generating station in 1999. The falcons have been nesting at this location since 2009.
This is a story I look forward to every year. Look at these cuties.
I love that. Lance, Aster, and Goldie.
I have to say, they're so ugly.
They really are, but they are super cute. We'll give them that.
Fluff balls. All right, 6:06 your time now. The future is better than the past. That is the message cancer specialists want you to take away about the future of metastatic research. Up next, we're going to introduce you to one woman who's making it her mission to change the face of the future of breast cancer.
And it looks to be a very pleasant weekend across southern Wisconsin, but we may have to deal with some showers moving back in for the back half of the weekend. Hattie's keeping an eye on that coming up next on News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning from the Hattie-O patio. A nice, comfortable start to this Friday morning. We have clear skies overhead, and we're headed to highs in the 80s. Now, speaking of 80s, most of us were in the 80s yesterday, a little bit warmer than I forecast, with a high of 84 in Madison, 82 in Janesville, and even as warm as 88 in Mineral Point. Some of that heat and higher moisture levels did lead to a few isolated showers and thunder showers across mainly southwestern Wisconsin. They were pretty isolated, but a few spots did pick up a little bit of rain yesterday. Now, our forecast this morning starts on a dry note. Nothing showing up on the radar anywhere around the region. You have to go several hundred miles from Madison to see any real appreciable rain. And we do have some showers and thunderstorms continuing to impact parts of Kentucky and much of Tennessee this morning. That moisture is not expected to lift northward, at least for the next couple of days. So our forecast stays pretty quiet. That's great news for the More Than Pink Walk that's taking place tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock when registration begins. If you're headed out early, temperatures will be in the 50s. Quickly warming up though. Sunshine from start to finish for this event. Should be perfect weather conditions for the walk. Temperatures back to around 70 degrees by 10 o'clock. Now here's a live look from the WISC-TV Skycam. Can't look at this enough. We have clear skies in the area. A very quiet start to the morning. 56 here in Madison, 57 in Janesville. To the southwest, it's 61 in Platteville and 60 in Prairie du Chien. Dew points are a little higher in the southwest as well. Platteville and Mineral Point still recording dew points in the 60s, whereas we're a little bit lower here in Madison, 54 degrees. So not terribly humid right now. As we go through the day, those dew points will tick up just a little bit, but still generally stay below 60 for most spots. Here's a look at your future track forecast model. We do have easterly winds today, so watch what happens with the temperatures as we head towards the lunch hour. We'll be climbing into the 70s here in Madison. Staying in the 60s, though, in Milwaukee with that lake breeze. There's going to be quite a difference in temperatures again today. 68 for a high in Milwaukee, 83 here in Madison, 82 in Platteville. So most of our area will be in the 80s. Very comfortable conditions this evening as temperatures drop back into the 60s by about 11 o'clock. Now, here's a look at your extended forecast. Another gorgeous day on Saturday with a high of 81. Sunday's forecast does bring a chance for some showers and thunderstorms back into the area. We may see a few showers in the morning, then that chance for thunderstorms comes later in the afternoon, in the evening. Overall, though, kind of a cooling trend as we head through next week. Not many chances for rain, but still turning cooler with highs back in the upper 60s on Thursday. Now it's time to get a look at those traffic maps this morning. Josh Tim has all the details. Good morning, Josh.
Yeah, it's another great start for the early commute. No delays on the Beltline heading east or westbound. Other roads here in Dane County are moving well for the most part. Just a few of the usual brake lights around Stoughton Road at the Beltline ramps. Nothing to slow you down around campus. Volume not a problem at the moment. And other main routes are cruising along at the usual speeds with no major crashes or delays. Your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
All right, Josh, thank you. And Hattie, thank you as well. 6:13 this morning. So we're sharing the stories of women you'll see in this year's Susan G. Komen More Than Pink Walk tomorrow. And this morning, we're introducing you to a woman changing the face of metastatic breast cancer.
So inspiring. You would never know Lori Nelson has stage 4 cancer, and she'd like to keep it that way. Our Christina Lori joins us this morning with why she walks. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning, Josh and Leah. So the Susan G. Komen Foundation has poured $160 million into metastatic breast cancer research. What does a woman living with breast cancer look like to you?
I think people are shocked. They're all like, oh, you look great.
Odds are Lori Nelson does not fit that image.
And I'm thinking, what am I supposed to look like?
She's part of a growing community of Madison women fighting and beating the disease, even though they'll likely never defeat it.
The timeline as of then is about half the people live 2 or 3 years. Or less, and half people live longer than that.
Lori is now part of that second group. She's been living with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer for 3 years.
I like to call it stable Mabel.
In 2016, she found a cancerous lump on her breast that spread to spots on her spine and her hip.
So we just kind of proceed until cancer gets sneaky and moves around the drugs I'm on.
She takes 2 pills, forms of oral chemo, to keep her cancer from spreading more. Side effects aside,
fatigue, nausea. I just think my energy level isn't what it used to be.
They're saving her life.
They say that with all the research and things that are out there now, that it's not quite like if you were living with diabetes or something like that, but it's that same kind of management of medications and things like that that you can just kind of proceed with life.
Dr. Mark Burkhardt helps women like Lori manage their metastatic cancer through his work at the Carbone Cancer Center.
The future is better than the past. We can only give you the timeline of what happened to the people 10 years ago. And among the people who live longer than that, there are some people who live very much longer.
He's now trying to understand why and how some Madison women are surviving 40 years after their initial diagnosis.
We think if we can understand how they have survived so long, we can develop strategies to help other women survive longer.
The problem, there's not enough local survivors. That's why Burkhardt is expanding his longevity study, looking for more participants nationwide.
We're interested in a future where there's what we call a precision approach, where we can better predict for each individual whether a medicine we're going to give them is going to be effective.
3 years post-diagnosis, Lori is living her new normal.
In my mind, I already have it, and it's not ever going away. It's not ever going to change. It's only going to get worse someday.
For now, she's not letting cancer consume her mind or her body.
I try and keep it in its space in my head and just try and live life.
You can find her and her Livin' with Lori team at this weekend's More Than Pink Walk, working to make treatment options more accessible for the 6% of women who, like her, are fighting stage 4.
In small ways, we're there already. In other ways, we're a long ways away.
Taking each day as it comes.
It's hard to make something like, oh, in 5 years. I have yet to be able to make a plan for 5 years, just because I don't think my head lets me.
A lesson we can all learn.
Nobody knows how long they're going to be here. So, you know, I've got a sentence to me at my name, I guess, but I'm not ready to give in.
So she'll keep on living, loving, laughing.
That's why I kind of went with the stable Mabel. I was Steady Freddy, but it's like I'm not really a guy, so I should go with the girl's name. And I like Mabel.
Changing the way you think of women living with breast cancer. This year will be Lori's third race for the cure. Her team, Livin' with Lori, has raised more than $2,000 for the race so far. And if you'd like to help her team, head to our website, channel3000.com, for links on how you can donate. And if you'd like to participate in this year's walk, you can still register. This year's event is tomorrow.
Oh man, this is just incredible. Like, I mean, just her, we always talk about like the goosebumps and stuff. Stable Mabel, you know, that you can't really plan too much, but just her spirit is still just so inspiring.
And what really stuck out to me was living in the moment, the importance of that. I know I'm always living a couple days ahead, and that's not how it's supposed to be.
You've done an incredible job with these stories, Christina.
Well, it's all thanks to all of the women. Thank you to all of them who talk to us, share their stories. It can't be hard to go through breast cancer, but then once again, to relive it, I just can't imagine.
Great opportunity to get out there, support these women, support breast cancer research. Join us. We at News 3 Now this morning. We're going to be out there tomorrow. We would love to see you.
We really would.
All right, Christina, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
All right, let's switch gears here. It's 6:18 your time now. If you would like to know what your pets do when you aren't home, you can find out this weekend.
Our Will Loper gives us a preview of The Secret Life of Pets 2 coming up in the Loper Report.
And find out if the weather is going to be in favor of doing any outdoor stuff today. I think Barrett the Polar Bear says yes. And he has another check on our weather when we return on News 3 Now this morning.
All right, welcome back at 6:22 on a Friday morning, and maybe a morning you'd like to take the coffee out onto the patio?
Not a bad idea. You know, we have a table out there. We could do the same.
Look at that. Kind of
Yeah,
lonely looking out there, though.
Hey, let's take the show out there.
The birds are out there. They've been very busy all morning. It's a beautiful start to the day today. Perfect for a Friday. Maybe if you want to get a little early start on the weekend.
Sounds good to me.
I don't know, but it is going to be a nice weekend. Here's a look at what it looks like in Platteville. Zoomed this camera around almost to 360 degrees. Didn't see a single cloud on the shot. So skies are clear across southern Wisconsin. Pretty nice start to the day. Temperatures are in the 50s and 60s. In fact, in Platteville, that's one of our warmer spots this morning. It's 61, 60 in Prairie du Chien, and 63 in Mineral Point. Temperatures do cool a little bit as you head towards the east. 54 this morning in Watertown, 56 here in Madison. Just a few days of school left for the Madison students and maybe some of the other surrounding communities. Here's a look at your bus stop weather forecast. Again, sun from start to finish today. Temperatures will be in the mid-70s as you head outside for lunch recess. When the bus takes you home, temps will be in the 80s. Have a wonderful Friday.
6:23 right now. He's not here in the studio with us today, but he's still got you covered with a look at what's hitting the box office this weekend.
Oh yeah, here's Will Loper with the preview of the first big summer movie for the whole family, The Secret Life of Pets 2.
Maybe a break from the city is just what you need. This place is... What? What did I do? What did I do?
Kevin Hart, Tiffany Haddish, and Harrison Ford are just some of the voices of pets who return for more adventures.
Oh, she caught the red dot.
All hail the queen.
Pops, your friend's gonna die.
Pickles, don't be so dramatic.
Gonna die, gonna die, gonna die.
But yes, probably.
The Secret Life of Pets 2 is rated PG.
I couldn't see him because of the cone. Then get rid of the cone. My therapist says I need it. It's a medical device. These doctors.
There. You're cured. Hallelujah.
That's kind of cute.
That is kind of cute. I think the first one was pretty popular, so I'm guessing this one will be good too.
Indeed.
Indeed. All right, 6:24. So still ahead for us this morning, an Amazon Alexa device helps save and reunite a boy with Down syndrome with his family.
That's an incredible story. We're going to share that next. Plus, some Prairie schools are putting together a new task force to address their bullying issues. More local news is coming up in the final half hour of News 3 Now this morning. Right now, the state's budget committee is working overtime to put together its own plan to fix Wisconsin's roads. We'll tell you about the new fees you might be paying.
And if you don't have any weekend plans yet in store, we've got a few things you won't want to miss in the Weekend 608.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, everyone. We are doing the happy dance on a Friday. It is June 7th. We're happy because it's Friday. It's the weekend. Good weather. It's donut day. What else?
Perfect weather to get you some polka dancing lessons, I think.
Hey, I should get that from my grandma and grandpa. They're really good at that.
They are good at that. Hattie, how are you doing out there, dancing?
Not bad. Did we mention it's Friday, right?
Yes.
The weekend is almost here, and the weather looks absolutely fantastic. We have sunshine right now. Temperatures are starting out in the 50s and 60s. Have had a little bit of fog develop, though, along the Mississippi River Valley. Visibility in Prairie du Chien is down to half a mile. It's down to about a quarter of a mile in Dubuque, so be aware of that. Also seen a little bit of fog up in Camp Douglas this morning. Fog is not expected to be a widespread issue. The sun should take care of it pretty quickly. We already have clear skies, temperatures in the mid-50s here in Madison to right around 60 in Prairie du Chien. As you head out the door, don't forget the sunglasses today. It is going to be a sunny day, another warm one as well, as highs reach the low 80s later on this afternoon. Now, so far, so good on the traffic reports. Let's see if anything has changed right now. Not looking at any major delays, maybe a few brake lights showing up on Stoughton Road as you approach the Beltline, but otherwise, travel looking pretty good right now. No accidents around Dane County either, so looking good on the interstate and all those major routes into the city. Smooth sailing this Friday morning.
Boy, Hats, you have all of the good news today.
That's true. Let's hope that doesn't change with those traffic reports.
I know, I might have just jinxed it.
Yeah, way to go.
Thank you, Addie.
You're welcome.
All right, timer now is 6:30. New this morning, Republicans on the state budget committee worked late into the night on their own plan to replace Governor Evers' transportation funding proposal. In a vote along party lines, the Joint Finance Committee decided to throw out Evers' plan, which called for spending more than $623 million in road projects. They also voted against raising the gas tax by 8 cents per gallon and raising heavy truck registration fees. There are other fee increases that could affect you if they make it into the final budget, though. Title fees would increase by $95. Registration fees would go up by $10, increasing to a total of $85. There would also be new $75 fees on hybrids. Overall, the Republican plan spends about $184 million less than the governor's proposal.
Staying with roads, you can expect some traffic delays if your weekend plans take you onto the Beltline. Construction crews will start repairs to the bridge over Todd Drive tomorrow, so traffic will be reduced to 2 lanes on the eastbound side of the Beltline, from Seminole Highway all the way to Fish Hatchery Road. Because of that project, the on-ramp for the eastbound Beltline at Seminole will be closed. That starts at 8 tonight and runs through 6 Monday morning.
In more local news this morning, Alexa is being credited with helping a lost Madison boy with Down syndrome find his way home. The boy went on a bike ride around his neighborhood, but ended up getting lost. He walked into a home he had been in before about a year ago, but it wasn't owned by the same people he knew anymore. He looked around the home and didn't recognize anything, but he did see an Amazon Echo. He said, "Alexa, call Mom," and ended up calling the parents of the people who now live there. The father ended up answering the phone but couldn't understand what the boy was saying, so he called 911.
It seemed he was confused. He certainly was familiar with the environment, but not familiar with who lived there anymore. But he saw this familiar device and knew what to say. And although it didn't connect him with his mother, it did get him the help he needed in the end.
Such an incredible story here.
Yeah.
When paramedics showed up, they figured out the boy was lost and were able to link him to a missing persons report and ended up reuniting him with his family.
The Sun Prairie School District is starting a task force on bullying after multiple incidents within their district. Here's one from just last week. The school says 2 girls got into a fight at Cardinal Heights Upper Middle School. Their parents say the girls were bullying each other on social media all year. The goal of this task force is to cut down on those cases, take a look at current policies, and figure out some best practices moving forward. They say community support in this idea will be key.
Once the school year wraps up, a group of teens will be spending their summer afternoons serving food to the homeless downtown. These young people dishing out free food, bottled water, clothes, and toiletries at the top of State Street are from the Boys and Girls Club. The weekly visit started after their custodian, Yuli Williams, retired last fall. He used to be homeless, so after his shift, he would go downtown and hand out sandwiches. One of the teen program directors, Jackie Wells, saw an opportunity to expand on his kindness.
Anything could happen in life that could wind you up in this situation. So I just want them to realize, that there are a lot of people out here less fortunate than them. So they make me proud every week.
Now, if you want to help out with the Yulee Project, you can drop off food, bottled water, and toiletry donations at the Boys and Girls Club.
Pretty incredible way to give back to your community there.
That really is.
All right, 6:33 your time now. Now that summer is finally rolling around, it's time to start planning those family vacations, maybe some beach trips, but plan carefully with hurricane season officially starting this month.
Up next, our Chris Reese is back with us this morning to tell us what we can expect this season and how to plan your trips accordingly. This is News 3 Now this morning. Coming up on 6:37 right now, and our nature photos continues with the My News 3 Morning.
We were amazed, Kevin, at how you caught this bird. I think that's in mid-flight, just jumping off of a branch.
That's beautiful. I thought you were going to try and name the bird, and I was like, oh boy, here we go again.
Ooh, not on a Friday,
Not
Josh.
on a Friday.
Not on a Friday.
Hey, if somebody knows what that bird is, though, they could send that to us, because we don't have any idea.
A blue jay, perhaps?
A blue jay? Looks like it. It is blue.
We're going to get all the emails
Yes,
this morning.
we are.
Thank you so much for sharing, Kevin.
100% a blue jay, I'm being told in my ear. If we're wrong, it's
boy.
not my fault. All right, what does your morning look like? You can send us a photo of a blue jay, a robin. What other birds?
A geeseling.
A geeseling. Oh gosh, here we go again.
Gosling.
Gosling. Yes, we do
got
know
this
it's a
down.
gosling. You can do that on our Facebook page. Oh man, off the rails. All right, well, pool time may be nice, but if you're looking to head out of Wisconsin and find yourself a beach with a family, Chris Reese has a warning for you this morning.
He's getting us back on track this morning. Hurricane season is getting into full swing. Chris, you're keeping an eye on it for us, right?
That's right, and I always have to pay at least a little bit of homage to hurricane season just because hurricanes are what actually got me
be interested in the weather. But first, let's talk about how hurricanes form. It's just a quiet day at the beach, right? You're enjoying your beautiful view, a few clouds out on the horizon, but here's the thing. Sometimes that warm air full of moisture over the ocean becomes unstable. That begins to rise up. It cools with height. This starts to create that cloud cover. This is known as convection, that vertical motion. It's actually the same way that we get our own showers and thunderstorms here. So you get some convection, you get some storms to develop out over the ocean. These storms continue to grow with time. And you still need moist layers about 15,000 feet into the sky to continue that thunderstorm activity. In addition to that, you need very little wind shear. The velocity of your wind doesn't need to change all that much. While wind shear brings severe weather for us, wind shear is not good for hurricanes. And oftentimes over the tropics, there's really not all that much at all. The next thing you need is warm water, folks. Once the water temperatures start to reach the 80s, especially the mid 80s, you start to supply enough energy to sustain these thunderstorms, and then they begin to grow into something more than just a complex of thunderstorms. We start out with a tropical depression. These are your organized, circulating clusters of clouds and thunderstorms. Winds are less than 38 miles per hour. That continues to grow, eventually reaching wind speeds between 39 and 73 miles per hour. This is a tropical storm. We add a little bit more fuel to the fire. Those winds get stronger. They grow more than 74 miles per hour. And alas, a hurricane is born. Now, most of hurricanes don't happen until later on in the season, but in the month of June, when a lot of folks are getting ready to take their vacations, here is where we start to see them develop. The greatest areas, the Bay of Campeche. In fact, we've actually seen one system try to get started in this area over the past week. Another area is the Caribbean, going towards the Yucatan Peninsula. So far, there hasn't been any development yet there this season. And then lastly, the third area to watch is the Bahamas. Now, here's why I would not cancel your vacations as of yet. As we put this into the future, the peak of hurricane season does not come in June. In fact, the peak of hurricane season is more so August towards September. In fact, September 11th is actually the peak day of tropical storm activity in the Atlantic hurricane basin. So those are some things to keep in mind. If you're planning that vacation, you want to go in June or July, and you're curious about the tropics, that's probably the best time to go. Now, this hurricane season as a whole, here's the outlook. We're looking at an average to slightly above average hurricane season, perhaps 9 to 15 total named storms, 4 to 8 of those being hurricanes and 2 to 4 being major hurricanes. That's from NOAA. We'll see how that transpires. But of course, I'm going to be watching that. Not because I'm going to the tropics at all, but just because people might be. I am going to the tropics in August. But you know, it's okay. Yeah, well, just really happy about that.
Leaving Wisconsin during summer, though, that's a tough decision.
It's only for 3 days. I'll be back.
Only 3 days. I was going to say, Chris Reeves won't be gone for long. He loves it too much here.
I like Wisconsin way too much to leave for long. I might miss something.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
Well, we are thankful for much quieter weather in Wisconsin here this weekend. Hattie is bringing us all the sunshine and warm weather to wrap up your work week. Chris is bringing it too. That's coming up after the break.
But first, it is June 7th, and we want to say happy birthday to Adam and all the other kiddos turning 3 today. Thanks for waking up with us and celebrating early on News 3 Now this morning. Oh, sweet summertime sunshine.
Isn't that beautiful?
Oh man, we could do that with every day, right?
Let's head out to the patio right now.
Yeah, seriously. All right, that is a live look outside from the west side of Madison. We're gonna have a lot of sunshine to talk about for the weekend. Hattie will join us here in just a moment. All right, the weekend in the 608 is practically here, so here's a look at what's happening around Madison this weekend.
A neighborhood tradition continues on the east side. The 30th annual Marquette Waterfront Festival brings music to 2 stages in Yahara Place Park on the shore of Lake Monona this weekend. Music galore, plus a Fool's Flotilla, a fun mass paddling event on the Yahara River, food and drink vendors, and a kids' game area make this festival fun for the entire family. I love that event.
That was actually my first event in Madison last summer.
Was it really?
Yep. Paul McCartney may not be in town anymore, but that doesn't mean Madisonians' Beatlemania has to end. Join the Madison Children's Museum for their 7th annual Summer Palooza. It features free admission to the museum, a kid-oriented Beatles cover band, games galore, and a parade around the Capitol Square. That goes from Saturday from 10 to 2.
And you know I have to plug June Dairy Month for all my farmers out there. This Saturday is the Dane County Breakfast on the Farm. Klondike Farm in Brooklyn will host the iconic event, a tradition that's been going for 50 years now. Saturday from 7 until 11:30, enjoy a great homemade breakfast, barn tours, and kids events, all while learning about life on a farm. There is limited parking because of the recent rain we've had, but free shuttles going from Madison's International Speedway will be able to get you there.
All right, 6:46 right now, and I would imagine there's probably some field trip days out there yet. And Hattie, today looks like a spectacular day.
It is. If today's your field trip day, you picked a winner. The zoo, this is the North American Prairie behind me. A beautiful day to head to the zoo. I'm sure the zoo will be very busy this morning and afternoon with lots of school kids. Now, farmers market also taking place this weekend. Here's your forecast. Looking gorgeous. Sunshine all day tomorrow. So when you head out early, if you're trying to beat the crowds, temperatures will be in the mid-50s early in the morning. Quickly warming, though, already back into the mid-70s by lunchtime. Just a light easterly wind is expected tomorrow. So beautiful conditions for the market. We have that nice weather sticking around for the next couple of days. High pressure is what's dominating our weather. It's a little bit to the east, but still close enough to keep skies clear for us and also prohibit any of this rain to the south of us from moving northward. So as we put this map into motion, going through tonight into tomorrow, just gorgeous conditions. Hardly any clouds expected for the area. Now with high pressure moving further off to the east, that is going to allow some of that moisture to start to lift northward. So by the second part of the weekend, we do have a chance for some showers coming in here Sunday morning, and then again later on Sunday with a cold front that will be sliding through the area. So Saturday will be the dry day. Chances for rain are back in the area on Sunday. Here's a look at your forecast, though, if you are looking further ahead than that. Maybe you like the warmer temperatures that we've been having, but some of those long-range forecast models are indicating that things may cool down a little bit as we head towards the middle of the month, especially here in the Great Lakes region. We have a pretty good chance for below normal temperatures. For that time period, normal highs would be in the upper 70s if you want some perspective. As far as rain is concerned, just a slight chance for above normal precipitation for the east, higher chances as you head to the west. Now, here's a look at our travel forecast. Things are heating up through the midsection of the country. We're looking at near triple-digit heat in Texas, 90s as well in Bismarck. So all the way through the plains, temperatures are going to be warm. A little bit cooler with that persistent shower and thunderstorm activity through parts of the mid-Atlantic. Here in the Great Lakes region, though, we have lots of sunshine in our forecast. No flight delays being recorded at any of the major airports right now, so travel looking good this morning. Skies are clear here. You shouldn't have any weather-related delays out of Dane County Airport this morning. Our temperatures are in the 50s and 60s, 62 in Platteville, actually jumping to 64 in Mineral Point. We've been holding steady here in Madison. We're 56 degrees. Dew points are going to climb a little bit today, but not too much. We should stay in the mid to upper 50s for the afternoon. A light east wind is expected today. We're looking at temperatures warming quickly, and through the evening, it'll be a nice cool down with temperatures dropping back into the 60s by 10 p.m. No rain in our forecast today or tomorrow. Look for a high of 83 today, 81 on Saturday. We're back into the 70s then on Sunday with that chance for rain. It is going to cool down a little bit next week, but we still have lots of sunshine in between. So I'm okay with cooler temperatures as long as we keep the sun.
Oh.
Look at Violet in the town of Dunn. Good girl. A Badger fan as well.
Yeah, what a cutie.
That is a cutie. Great data for a dog walk this afternoon.
Yeah, anything outside.
Seriously.
Looks like she's loving the sun.
We all are. Thanks, Addie.
You're welcome.
Stay with us. The Morning Sprint is up next.
6:52, time for the morning sprint. Hattie has an amazing weekend forecast in store for us as our team gives you everything you need to know before heading out the door.
We start right here in Madison, where the police officer involved in an excessive force investigation is now being put on restricted duty. This comes after officers responded to the home of a 17-year-old boy who police say was experiencing a mental health emergency. Officers allege he was showing threatening behavior while the boy's friends and family dispute that account. The police chief says race was not a factor.
Dane County board members approved a $148 million plan to update and consolidate the county's jails. And the plan, which would have cost $72 million more than initially approved, includes building an 8-story tower on the parking lot behind the downtown public safety building and the jail, and closing 2 other facilities that are outdated.
Republicans are working overtime to put together their own plan for transportation funding. Late last night, the Joint Finance Committee decided to throw out Governor Evers' plan, which called for spending more than $623 million in road projects. They also voted against raising the gas tax and the heavy truck registration fee. However, the plan does include an increase in title and vehicle registration fees.
Just within the last 30 minutes or so, a little fog developing across parts of southwestern Wisconsin. Visibility down to a quarter of a mile in Prairie du Chien. Fog not a widespread problem for the area this morning. Sun is already up. We have no clouds in the sky this morning. Expect mostly sunny skies through the day. Temperatures climbing back into the mid-70s by lunchtime, topping right around 83 degrees later on this afternoon.
All right, Hattie, thanks so much. The White House is planning to move ahead with a plan to put tariffs on Mexican imports, barring a breakthrough in negotiations today. Politicians in Washington and Mexico are working together to form a compromise that avoids or limits these tariffs. There has been some progress made in negotiations, but as of now, the 5% tariff is still scheduled to go into effect on Monday.
A cadet is dead and several others injured after a military vehicle carrying 20 cadets and 2 soldiers rolled over on its way to a training exercise at West Point yesterday. All 21 of the other passengers are recovering this morning. The cause of that accident is still under investigation.
The Sun Prairie Area School District is starting a task force on bullying after multiple incidents in that district. They're going to examine current policies and figure out the best practices moving forward. It comes after multiple bullying incidents in the past year, including a fight between 2 girls that stemmed from online bullying.
The Women's World Cup kicks off today in host country France. France is playing against South Korea at 2 p.m. today. The U.S. women's team is looking to defend their title. Their first game is Tuesday, also at 2 p.m. They're facing off against Thailand.
Susan G. Komen's annual More Than Pink Walk is tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. here in Madison. Amidst that sea of walkers, you'll find women currently in treatment, survivors, and a group known as Forever Fighters. They're women like Lori Nelson, who we introduced you to in this morning's Why We Walk piece. They have stage 4 metastatic cancer that's spread to other parts of their bodies, and right now, that disease can't be cured. About half of the women living with metastatic cancer live 2 or 3 years. Half live longer than that. Lori has been living with the disease for 3 years now. Longevity researchers at the UW-Madison say the odds of people like Lori living with the disease for decades is becoming more and more likely. You can learn more about Lori, that research, and tomorrow's walk on channel3000.com.
Christina, thanks so much. You could expect some traffic delays if your weekend plans take you on the Beltline. Construction crews will start repairs to the bridge over Todd Drive tomorrow, so traffic will be reduced to 2 lanes on the eastbound side of the Beltline from Seminole Highway to Fish Hatchery Road. The on-ramp to the eastbound Beltline at Seminole Highway will also be closed all weekend.
Speaking of roads, let's turn it over to Josh Tim with a look at your Friday First Alert traffic. Hi, Josh.
Good morning, guys. Still moving well on the Beltline so far. No major delays, but as expected, that westbound side is continuing to get busier. Inbound John Nolan starting to tap the brakes at Rimrock and Olin Avenue as you move into the downtown area. And other main routes coming into Madison, they're cruising along at the posted speeds with no major crashes or issues. For your First Alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thanks so much, Josh. Have a great weekend.
You too.
And it's a beautiful start to this Friday morning. Here's a live look from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville this morning. Clear skies there. Clear skies across all of southern Wisconsin. This is the view from the west side of Madison. Temperatures will climb into the mid-70s by lunchtime, topping right around 83 degrees later on this afternoon. Here's that weekend forecast as well. It won't leave you hanging. 81 degrees on Saturday, 77 on Sunday. Saturday will be the dry day.
You won't leave us hanging when it's a good forecast like that.
That's true.
All right, Hattie. Thanks so much, and thank you all for joining us. We hope you have a fantastic Friday and a wonderful weekend. Enjoy that sunshine. We'll see you back here on Monday morning.